Hi there, I'm Simon from Astro and welcome to our night sky guide for April 2026. We've just finished up a sold-out stargazing event at the RFPB Bempton Cliffs, and we had an amazing night with all of our guests enjoying the night sky, and we took a close look at some planets, some galaxies, nebulae, star clusters, and we even saw an amazing fireball blazing across the sky as well. It was incredible. Towards the end of our event, Nicole noticed that the solar wind stats were looking quite promising. So after our event, we rushed over to Flamborough, just around the corner, not too far away from Bempton, and we were greeted by this. There we go, an incredible aurora display. Look at it, it's amazing. And yeah, we've been snapping lots of pictures. We've got some real-time video footage. And yeah, it's been an incredible display. There's been moments where it's been visible to the eye. I even managed to see a little bit of colour to the eye as well. Really cool display. Really nice sight to see after our sold-out stargazing event. April is the first full month of spring when our nights start to become much warmer, and even though our nights are becoming brighter and shorter, it's still a great time to enjoy the night sky. And we're still quite close to the March equinox, so we still have potential for some great aurora displays too. Early evenings in April are the last chance to see all the winter constellations before they disappear from view, dipping below the horizon. It's still worth observing Jupiter, the king of the planets, before that disappears too. And April also sees the return of major meteor showers, with the Lyrid meteor shower to look forward to. So yeah, there's plenty to look forward to throughout the month of April. And so without further ado, let's dive in.
Sunrise and sunset times throughout April will be as follows. On the 1st, the sun will rise at 6:43 am and set at 7:44 pm. On the 11th, the sun will rise at 6:19 am and set at 8:02 pm. On the 21st, the sun will rise at 5:56 am and set at 8:21 pm, and on the 30th the sun will rise at 5:37 am and set at 8:37 pm. Moon phases now. The moon reached first quarter on the 25th of March, and so will start the month of April as a waxing gibbous. Full moon will be on the 2nd, last quarter will be on the 10th, new moon will be on the 17th, and first quarter will be on the 24th. As usual, the moon will be paying some close visits to other celestial objects this month, and these meetings will be discussed in more detail in our highlights section. For all the aurora chasers, even though some people consider the time after the vernal spring equinox the end of the aurora season due to our skies becoming brighter, it's still worth heading out on nights when the space weather stats are looking promising. We had some amazing displays throughout March, so let's all keep our fingers crossed for more great displays throughout April, and if you'd like to be kept in the loop with regular updates and alerts for possible aurora displays, please follow our Facebook page. For Milky Way fanatics, April is a very exciting time indeed, as the month of April is considered by many to be the true start of the Milky Way core season. Early mornings throughout April are a great time to capture an east-facing spring Milky Way arch, and the bright glow of the Milky Way core can be captured as the core rises in the southeast in the early morning. Onto general nighttime sights now. Looking towards the north throughout April, the iconic asterism of the Plough and constellation Ursa Major are high in the sky near the zenith in the middle of the night, with the tail of the dragon Draco and the little bear Ursa Minor below. The constellations of Ophiuchus and Hercules can be seen rising in the east, with Lyra and Cygnus following close behind. Lacerta and half of Andromeda can be seen peaking up above the northern horizon, with Cepheus, Cassiopeia and Camelopardalis above, and towards the west, Perseus can be seen sinking low, with Auriga following behind, and the winter constellations of Taurus and Orion can be seen sinking below the western horizon. Looking south, the zodiacal constellations of Cancer and Leo remain very prominent, with the whole of the long snaking constellation of Hydra visible below. To the east, Butes is now high in the sky, with Corona Borealis and Serpens Caput close by. Just below, Virgo is continuing to rise higher, with Libra following close behind. And to the west, the winter constellations of Gemini and Canis Minor can be seen sinking lower, following Monoceros and Orion below the horizon. General bright planet view now. The speedy and elusive planet Mercury is almost impossible to observe throughout April. Even though the messenger reaches greatest western elongation on the 3rd, Mercury remains extremely low on the horizon moments before sunrise, and will require a good pair of binoculars or a telescope to observe. Mercury starts the month in Aquarius and ends April in Pisces. The observing window for super bright evening planet Venus continues to improve throughout April, with Venus setting just under 2 hours after the Sun on the 1st, and at the end of the month will set 2 hours and 42 minutes after the Sun. Venus starts April only just within the boundaries of Aries and ends the month in Taurus. Although Mars is slowly moving away from the glare of the Sun, the red planet still remains too close to the Sun to be observable throughout April and will remain so for a little while to come. Mars starts the month in Aquarius and ends April in Pisces. While Jupiter remains very prominent and easy to observe for most of the month, the observing window for gas giant Jupiter is slowly but steadily closing throughout April, with Jupiter appearing towards the west in the post-sunset twilight at the end of the month. Jupiter remains in Gemini throughout April. The amazing ring planet Saturn only just reached solar conjunction on the 25th of last month, and so is placed too close to the Sun throughout April to be observable. Saturn starts the month in Pisces and ends April within the boundaries of Cetus. Okay, let's begin looking at our highlights for the month of April. There's a great selection of celestial events this month, and kicking off the month will be the Moon reaching its full phase. The early morning of the 2nd hosts the April full moon, which is known to some as the pink moon. The exact moment the moon will be at its most illuminated will be at around 3 AM. This means that the night the moon will appear most full will be the night of the 1st into the morning of the 2nd. However, don't worry if you don't get to see the moon then, the moon will still appear full on adjacent nights too. In the early morning of the 3rd, the 98% illuminated waning gibbous moon will appear close by to Spica, the brightest star of the constellation Virgo. The moon and Spica will appear close together all throughout the night of the 2nd, but will appear at their closest towards the south at around 1:15 AM in the early morning of the 3rd. On the day of the 3rd, the speedy and elusive planet Mercury reaches a point in relation to the Earth and Sun known as greatest western elongation. At this moment in time, Mercury will appear at its furthest distance from the Sun in our morning skies. Greatest elongations are usually the best times to observe the inferior planets in our solar system. However, due to the unfavourable angle of the ecliptic during April's mornings, Mercury will appear extremely low to the horizon moments before sunrise. If you do try this almost impossible observation with your binoculars or telescope, be extremely cautious of the Sun, which will be rising shortly after Mercury. In the early morning of the 7th, the 77% illuminated waning gibbous moon will appear close by to the star Antares, the brightest star of the constellation Scorpius. Look towards the southeast at around 2 AM to see the pair rise above the horizon together. On the 17th of April, the moon will reach its new phase, leaving the skies free from natural light pollution. This means that the nights on and around the 17th will be ideal for viewing faint objects in the night sky and/or taking photographs of the night sky. On the night of the 18th, a wafer-thin 2% illuminated waxing crescent moon will appear close by to the bright planet Venus. The super thin moon will be an extreme challenge to find, and a pair of binoculars or a telescope will definitely help observe this meeting. Look to the western horizon following sunset to observe this pairing. The following night on the 19th, the still very thin 7% illuminated waxing crescent moon will appear close by to the Pleiades open star cluster, also known as the Seven Sisters. Look to the west following sunset to observe this meeting. On the night of the 22nd, the 36% illuminated waxing crescent moon will appear close by to the bright planet Jupiter. The moon and Jupiter will appear close together all night, but will appear at their closest as they near the horizon towards the west at around 12:30 AM in the early morning of the 23rd. The night of the 22nd will also host the peak of the Lyrid meteor shower. Although the Lyrid shower is not the most prolific of meteor showers, after an almost 4-month drought of major meteor showers, the Lyrids are always a welcome sight in our night skies. The Lyrid meteor shower is active between the 13th and the 30th of April, and on an average year can produce up to 20 meteors per hour under perfect conditions. Unfortunately, the 36% illuminated moon will be in the skies all night during the peak of the Lyrids and will affect the amount of meteors that will be visible. However, the Lyrids will be active around the new moon, and the shower also overlaps with the active period of the Eta Aquarids, and so it will be still worth keeping an eye out for meteors throughout April. For more information on the Lyrid meteor shower, including hints and tips on how to maximise your chances of viewing meteors, please read our comprehensive Lyrid meteor shower Facebook post. On the night of the 23rd, the super bright planet Venus will appear close by to the faint planet Uranus and the Pleiades star cluster. Uranus will be a challenge to spot, requiring the aid of a pair of binoculars or a telescope to observe, and it will appear as a faint bluey-green star-like point of light less than 1 degree to the left of Venus. Look to the western horizon in the post-sunset twilight to observe this meeting. In the early morning of the 26th, the 70% illuminated waxing gibbous moon will appear close by to the star Regulus, the brightest star of the constellation Leo. The moon and Regulus will appear close together all throughout the night of the 25th, but will appear at their closest as they approach the western horizon at around 3 AM in the early morning of the 26th. And our final highlight for the month of April will take place in the early morning of the 30th, when the almost full 97% illuminated waxing gibbous moon will appear close by to the bright star Spica for a second time in 1 month. The moon and Spica will appear close together all through the night of the 29th, but will appear at their closest towards the southwest in the early morning hours of the 30th, just before the dawn twilight. Oh, and Jupiter will be hanging around here again.
So that wraps up another month. I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure to press the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, leave us a comment in the comment section below, and feel free to follow us on our socials on Facebook and Instagram. And as always, if you head out to enjoy the night sky at any point in the near future, we wish you good luck and clear skies.